When you're building a worksheet in Microsoft Excel and you're placing formulas into your worksheet, you have the option of using your mouse in combination with your keyboard to build those formulas. You don't have to type everything on your keyboard. You can combine the two things together to make your formula work. Here we have a very simple worksheet tracking some investments, and we have three columns where we need some formulas. First, we'll need to find out the original value of the various stocks that have been purchased. Then we'll want to find out the current value of those stocks. And then we'll want to find out whether we've made money or lost money by comparing the current value of each stock against the original value of each stock. Finally, we'd like to know how much the whole portfolio is worth, so we'll add up all the current values in this cell up here. To begin, I will click on D5 to make that my current cell. Then to start that formula, I have to start with an equal sign, so I'll type that from my keyboard. Using my mouse, I will click on C5 to indicate to Excel that that cell reference has to be part of the formula. Because I'm multiplying, I will type an asterisk, and then I will use my mouse to click on B5 to indicate to Excel that that's where I want it to grab a value to multiply against the purchase price. Next, I will click on my Enter button up here in the formula bar to indicate to Excel that I'm done with that formula. The nice thing about the Enter button, it's just like pressing the Enter key on your keyboard, except that you don't move. You stay in the cell where you just made an entry. And I'd like to do that because now I want to use my fill handle in the lower right corner here to drag down through the column and copy that formula all the way down to row 19. The next formula I will build will be at F5. Again, I have to start with an equal sign, no option on that. I'll use my mouse to click on E5, then my keyboard will use to type an asterisk to indicate multiplication. Then I'll use my mouse to click on B5 to complete that formula, equal E5 times B5. Then I will click my Enter button to indicate to Excel that I'm done with that formula. Before I copy this down, I'll do this formula next. I will start with an equal sign. I will click on the current value. I'll type a hyphen to indicate subtraction. Then I will click on the original value for that stock. So I'm taking the current value in F5 and subtracting from it the original value in D5. I'll click my check mark, Enter button, and now I have the gain showing in G5. Because these two formulas are right next to each other, I can copy them simultaneously. That's why I waited. I'll use my mouse to highlight the two formulas. Notice that we still have the fill handle here. I'll point at the fill handle until I see that crosshair, and then I'll drag down through row 19. And now I have all of my results for the original values, the current values, and the gain and loss on each stock. The final thing I'd like to do here is total up the complete portfolio value. So I will click at F2. My first keystroke is an equal sign. Because I'm adding, I'm going to use the sum function to add a whole lot of numbers together. I'll type the word sum and I'll open my parentheses. Then I'll use my mouse to indicate what I am adding together. I will drag through all these numbers. If I had other numbers elsewhere that I also wanted to add, I could go click on those. But right now I'm going to close my parentheses because that is my complete formula, and I will click the checkmark Enter button to complete it. Now I have my total portfolio value, and I have filled out the original values, the current values, and the gain-loss for this worksheet. This is just to let you know that you have options when you're building formulas. You don't have to type everything on your keyboard. This was a very simple example, but sometimes when you're building formulas, you have to identify cell references that may be around different parts of your worksheet. And it can be very, very helpful to point and click to make sure that you have high quality precision in building your calculations.